Welcome to the Well Woman Show, where we interview women executives, leaders, and entrepreneurs.
And you're listening to the Well Woman Show,
where motivated women achieve fulfillment and well-being.
You're listening to the Well Woman Show.
Take time for myself by coming to things like Well Woman Drinks.
To be accepting of myself no matter what. Step away from judgment as much as possible.
You're listening to the Well Woman Show.
You're going to be in for a good ride. I don't regret anything. Everything I've ever done, I've learned from it, one way or another, good or bad.
Being a little bit selfish for yourself, put your own oxygen mask on first and then give what's left.
I'm a woman. I would prefer to tell my own story. My story, though it's very personal, is universal.
You're listening to the Well Woman Show. And now your host, Giovanna Rossi.
Hi, Giovanna Rossi here, and welcome to another episode of the Well Woman Show, where I interview women leaders, executives, and entrepreneurs about their lives and their road to becoming and being who they are today. Are you feeling burned out or finding it hard to focus on your goals? Or are you in transition? Well, you're not alone. We all need to activate our superpowers. These are the internal strengths and abilities we all already have but don't use all the time. Superpowers can be cultivated, and they include empathy, love, intuition, courage, and more. As always, this episode is brought to you by Well Woman Life, a global community of women living our best lives. Whether it's your health, relationships, your money, or making an impact in your community and the world, Well Woman Life has you covered. You've made a commitment to not settle, to use your voice, and to live your best life. Well Woman Life offers annual memberships, workshops, and retreats to support you. Check out wellwomanlife.com/Facebook to join our growing community. Now back to the show. Hello. Welcome to the 100th episode of the Well Woman Show. I'm so excited to share a very, very special episode with you. I am going to be interviewed by my 6-year-old daughter, Octavia. So we turn the tables this week, and she interviews me, asking me the questions I usually ask my guests. And so what you'll learn this episode is my morning routine that I use to kickstart the day, my personal superpower, and Octavia is going to talk about how she knows she's a great runner. So this is a really fun episode. I hope you enjoy it. I definitely loved having her on the show and interview me. And I also want to let you know that we are launching, in celebration of our 100th episode, we are launching our Join the Movement campaign, which is a way to share our very, very valuable framework that we have developed inside Well Woman Life. It's a transformational framework for badass women to really understand where they are in the Well Woman life cycle. There are 4 stages, and each stage has a different universal superpower that everybody has access to, but we don't always use, and we certainly aren't using the right one for where we are in our lives. So we share that with some tools in order to activate that superpower. And you can find that at wellwomanlife.com/movement. And it's a quick 2-question survey that helps you figure out what stage you're in. And the framework is basically built on the idea that there are 2 very, very important things that when they intersect tells us where we are. And I share those with you at wellwomanlife.com/movement. So definitely check it out. I'm super excited. I'd love for you to share it too with your friends. I think everybody should do this. I was so overjoyed when I presented this at the retreat this past fall, and I got so much great feedback about it. I mean, literally people were blown away, like, wow. I think one of our participants, and she was a speaker too, Mary Agnes, who is our social media guru, she called it simple brilliance, which I just loved. It is super simple, and it just gets right to the heart of where we are in our challenges in our lives. So I definitely want you to check it out, wellwomanlife.com/movement. And the other thing is that I am going to be, now that we're going to be into the hundreds in our episodes. We're going to be adding things and changing things up. We've been listening to what our audience wants and what you benefit from. And we're trying to just add value where we can with this podcast. And so we're going to be adding some live consultations with our Well Woman community members using the transformational framework for badass women, so that you can actually hear me consult with women one-on-one using this framework. And so it helps you. It's just so helpful. It's like, have you ever participated like on a hot seat where you get to watch someone being coached? It's so super helpful because you can relate it back to your own life. So that's what's going to happen here. I'm super excited that Juliana Silva is going to be on the show for that. Also, Helen Maestas will be on the show and Jasmine Stromberg. So those are the first 3 that we have. We'll be spreading them out over the next few weeks, and super excited about that. And we'd love to hear your feedback. The way to be in touch with us and with the whole community is to go to wellwomanlife.com/Facebook and join our free group. And definitely go over there. There's a lot going on inside that group that can support you to live your best life. So with that, I want to just review very quickly some of my favorite shows in the 100 that we've done. And we have interviewed so many awesome women. They were all interviews that I thoroughly enjoyed. And I'm just going to highlight a few of them. We started the show on March 1st, 2016 with Nina Simons of the Bioneers. She's a true pioneer in her field. We also had Michelle Duval on the show, episode number 4. She is a leader in the mindfulness field. We had sex and gender analyst and Dr. Sarah Lynn Mark on episode 7. We had Dana Malstaff from Boss Moms on episode number 8. Kate Erickson, who, as many of you know her for her own podcast, and also she helps on her partner's podcast, John Lee Dumas, with Entrepreneur on Fire. We had Native American activist and leader LaDonna Harris on the show, episode number 14. We interviewed Julia Cameron, author of The Artist's Way, episode 18. That was incredible and just such a joy to do. We also had Fernanda Santos on the show, episode 26. She was the New York Times bureau chief, originally from Brazil, and came here as a young woman and made her career happen here in the United States. Eva Encinas from the National Flamenco Institute, internationally known there. And also episode 31, Hala Thomasdottir ran for president of Iceland. So you can see just amazing women. I'm scrolling through the list here. I can't mention all of the guests, but we really wanted to highlight a few. Miki Agrawal, who is the CEO and founder of Thinx, which is an underwear that you can wear on your period. Very cool. And that was episode 50. We also had Jean Houston, who's just a pioneer in the personal development field, spiritual field. And then, of course, Vera de Chalambert, episode 60. She is a spiritual storyteller and just an amazing person that I saw speak at Sister Giant in DC, Marianne Williamson's event. And then I brought her out to be a speaker at our retreat this past year. So that was amazing. Also, one of my favorites and sort of a highlight in my podcasting career, really, I have to say, and if you know me well, you know exactly who I'm going to mention right now. Byron Katie. Amazing interview with Byron Katie, episode number 75. She and I sat down together at the Chopra Center Women's Retreat last year. and talked about everything super deep into her why about her book, Loving What Is. And of course, I can't forget Amy Porterfield, episode 95. That was a really great episode in which I did some interesting analysis on her while we were doing our interview, and she thanked me for it. It was kind of funny. Episode 95 there. So definitely check out some of those back issues of the podcast. I often go back and listen to them because they're just super, super filled with great nuggets of information. So with that, I am going to transfer over here to my interview with my daughter interviewing me, turning the tables. I hope you enjoy. So what's your favorite book right now, Octavia?
Harry Potter.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. So you're reading Harry Potter at night with Daddy, aren't you?
Yes.
And Atticus?
Yep.
Okay, so what do you like about Harry Potter? What's going on there with that book?
There's a lot of action.
Mm-hmm. Like what?
Stuff.
Oh, like what kind of stuff happens?
Interesting stuff.
Do you like Hermione?
Yes.
What is she good at doing?
Reading.
She likes studying a lot, doesn't she?
Yeah.
You're good at reading.
Mm-hmm.
And what else do you like about Harry Potter? You're trying to get on my computer as we're talking. I can see you sneaking your hand over to my keyboard.
Wait, what did you say?
What else do you like about Harry Potter? Or what's another book that you like?
I don't know.
I can't think of any. Let me ask you this, Octavia. What does Mommy do for a living? Like, how do I earn my money? What do I do for a job?
Well, woman.
Yeah, and what is that? What do I do there?
Meetings, talk, stuff.
Meetings, talk, and stuff. Yeah. That must be what it seems like to you, huh?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Do you like my office when we come into my office and work in here?
Yeah.
What do you like the best?
That there's a couch.
The couch is pretty comfy, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Do you like that I have my office at home?
Yes.
Why?
Because then you don't have to go everywhere and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can walk you to school and then we come home. I come home and work. And then when you get home from school, I'm mostly here, huh?
Yep. Yep.
So, that was very intentional in designing my life for having kids, because I had a whole career before having kids. So transitioning to having my career, continuing my career and building my business while having tiny children was definitely a challenge, but one that we figured out and designed our lives to be able to do all of that. And it's definitely a juggle, when one ball is up, another ball is down. Sometimes we drop a ball, and that's okay. What do you think of that?
Yes. Yep.
I can see you're writing your name because I'm droning on and on here with my talking. So you're writing your name. How do you spell your name?
Octavia.
Yeah, that's right. And how do you pronounce it?
Octavia.
Yes. Okay, Octavia, we're going to get ready here to have you interview me in just a moment. I'm speaking today on the Well Woman Show with Octavia Rossi Presley. Can you say hi?
Hi.
Octavia, are you a well woman or a well girl?
A well girl.
A well girl. What is a well girl? What does that mean to you?
I don't know.
Does it mean being healthy, strong, playing hard? What do you think?
All those things.
Yeah. And what else?
Eating a lot of candy.
Okay, eating a lot of candy and a lot of carrots.
No.
You like carrots though, don't you?
Kind of.
Yeah. Do you brush your teeth after you eat candy?
No.
Should you brush your teeth after you eat candy?
No.
Oh, come on. I know you know the answer to that.
Yes.
Okay, so Octavia, we're here today celebrating the 100th episode of what?
The well woman thing.
The well woman thing, yeah. How old are you, Octavia?
6.
Yeah. And what school do you go to?
Bandelier Elementary.
Yeah. Do you like it there?
Mm-hmm.
What do you like the best?
Recess.
Do you like your teacher and your friends?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. So what we want to do today is we're celebrating the 100th episode of the Well Woman Show. And this is something that I have been working on for a long time. First, it was a radio show, and it still is a radio show. But then I started as a podcast almost 2 years ago. And we've broadcast weekly for almost 2 years to get to our 100th episode. And it's a pretty big deal. What do you think?
Yes.
Are you excited?
Yes.
Okay. And what happens usually when Mommy has to interview people for the Well Woman Show? Do I travel to talk to people? Do I go into my office?
Yes.
Yeah, all those things.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think we talk about on the Well Woman Show?
About well woman stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talk about well woman stuff. That's right. All right. So we're going to talk today. You're going to actually ask me some questions, aren't you? We're going to kind of turn the tables here. Usually I do the Superpowers for Success segment in each episode. And Octavia here is actually going to ask me the questions that I normally ask my guests. So here we go.
What does success mean in life to you?
Well, success to me means living from a place of love instead of a place of fear, living in abundance instead of from a place of lack. And if I can do that every day in all of my interactions and all my relationships and all my decisions, then I feel like I've been pretty successful. Because when we respond from a place of love instead of a place of fear, we expand and we're more in flow, and generally things go better, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, next question.
When did you know you were really good at what you do?
Well, that is tough. I think I'm still working on it. I think that when so there's like internal recognition and then external recognition or validation. And so when people tell me that I've made an impact in their life, or that something I have written or delivered or done has made a real impact on them, then I know then that what I did was pretty awesome. I think as women, it's tough for us to say that, to say, you know, I'm really good at what I do, because we're socialized to not be a quote unquote bragger, or, you know, not get too big for our britches or whatever. And I think it's important for us to claim those things that we are good at and say, you know what, I am good at this. And, but I also think it's a constant journey, and we're always working on it. We're always improving, aren't we? What do you think you're good at, Octavia?
Running.
You're good at running. What do you run? You run really fast, but do you think that you could be better?
Yes.
But a lot of people tell you you're good at running, don't they?
Yes.
Is that how you know you're good at running?
Kind of.
How else do you know that you're good at running?
The speed that I run.
Yeah, you can tell. So you don't need someone else to tell you you're good at running. You know, because you can tell that you're running really fast when you're doing it.
Mm-hmm. What is a personal habit of well-being?
So what is a personal habit that contributes to my well-being? Well, I think I have a few, but I definitely would say my morning routine is definitely a personal habit that I find really, really is so important for my well-being. And that is because waking up early, a little earlier than the rest of the family, and either doing some writing, some journaling, or some meditation, and putting the kettle on and making my little morning drink, which is my cinnamon and turmeric with hot water. It's just super soothing. And then I sit in my favorite chair looking out the window and watching the sunrise. And that's when I do like a little meditation or a little writing, a little reading. And I definitely try to create before I consume. So, writing, journaling, it's basically, doing something of my own before I take in other information. But yeah, I would say my morning routine really is the one.
What superpower have you? I forgot.
That's been there all the time.
That's been there all the time.
Good job. What superpower do I have that's been there all the time? It's funny. I ask people these questions every week on my show, and I actually really did not prepare my answers to this. But obviously I've thought about it a lot because I came up with these questions. So what superpower did I discover I had only to realize it was there all the time? I think that my ability to really stand in other people's shoes and get what they're talking about and what they're feeling and thinking. And so my intuition about situations and people, I really have discovered that that's a strength and a superpower of mine in all situations, in family and work. And when I reflected on that, I realized I've had that always. I've always had that ability, really. It's just there. So I think that's what I would say.
What advice would you give your 5-year-old self?
What advice would I give my 5-year-old self? Or do you mean my 25-year-old self?
25-year-old.
Okay. Yeah, that would be very different. I think I would give my 5-year-old self the advice of like, just have some fun, but that's what 5-year-olds do. They have fun. And so I think I would tell that to my 25-year-old self too, frankly. I would say, have some fun, don't take life so seriously. Of course we all do when we're that age. We're like, oh, this is, the end. I've got to figure this out or else. And actually we put so much pressure on ourselves to figure it all out and to be perfect. And, it's kind of unnecessary, but yeah. So I would say, have fun with it. Have fun. Follow your heart, follow your dreams, and, be smart about it. I always say take risks, but take calculated risks. So like really calculate out like the pros and cons of the situation and then have fun with it. I will say though, on another note, that my 25-year-old self wouldn't have listened anyway if I had told her. She'd have been like, yeah, right. What do you know? I know everything. And she would have, learned all the lessons that she needed to learn in whatever way. So in some ways, I think this question is about regret. And I actually don't regret or want to change things because I feel like I've become the person I am because of those things. And I like the person I am, and it's taken a long time to get there, but here we are. And hopefully by being a part of the Well Woman community, it won't take you as long to get there. That's part of what we do here at the Well Woman Life community is we support each other so that we can live from a place of love and abundance and joy and have fun and not be so fearful about the decisions and the things that are going on in our lives. And so I think we have one more question.
What? I forgot. Do you identify as a feminist?
So that's a good question. Do you know what a feminist is, Octavia?
Yeah.
Do you remember? Do you want to tell me?
No.
What do feminists do?
They do something.
And feminists can be boys or girls, right?
Yep.
Yeah, because when you're a feminist, you're working for social, political, and economic equality. And so men and women, boys and girls can participate and join in on that, don't you think?
Yep.
So when we talk about equality, we mean having things be fair and equal. And do you think things are always fair and equal?
Yeah.
They are. In your experience, they have been. That's good. Mm-hmm. So I also like to take it a little step further and say I am definitely a feminist. And I really want to work not towards just equality, but to where everybody is thriving. And I think ultimately that's what feminism, strives to do. But with the definition I use, which is working for economic, social, and political equality, it doesn't really address that other piece of like truly thriving, like not just achieving equality, but like really excelling and doing your best and living your best life. And, there are, systems and structures in place that make that pretty difficult sometimes, socially, politically, and economically. And so what we're trying to do is change some of those systems. And we've seen a lot of movement around that in the last months. And it's the point I want to make here is that it's really everyone's job to be thinking about this and doing this, not just women. So, really, I hope there are men's podcasts that are talking about this as well, because I think that conversation definitely has to happen amongst men as well as women. I don't think that we can change everything. I do also want to say, and all of these things that I'm saying could be like topics for future podcasts, but basically, I do want to make the point that, feminism is not a zero-sum game. So if I achieve equality, it doesn't mean that, a man has to have anything less. So it's not like an either or. It's not a me or you. It's a we or an and. And I think that when I win, you win. When women win, men win. Actually, with feminism, if we truly had political, social, and economic equality, men and women would be doing a lot better. So it would benefit men just as much as, women. And I think that piece gets forgotten and left out. And I just really wanted to make that point that when women win, men also win. It's not like when women win, men lose out. Now, there is a certain amount of power and control that in order to achieve equality, some men are going to have to relinquish. And that's really difficult. And I can see that. We can see that happening. And I get that. That's tough. You've had power for a long time and now we're asking, for you to give it up. It's not something that everybody wants to do. However, in the long term, once we do have equality in all levels, I think, men and women will be better off. So those are my deep thoughts on feminism here on the 100th episode of the Well Woman Show with my lovely assistant and interviewer, the wonderful Octavia. And do you want to say a few words at the end here?
Goodbye.
Is that it? You want to say anything else?
No.
Okay. You like being a reporter, though, don't you? You were a reporter at school. What did you report on at school?
What do you mean?
When you had to be on TV and you had a microphone?
I forgot.
Did you announce something?
I forgot, Mom.
Oh, you forgot. Okay. You had a really, really important line in announcing the lunch on the news, remember? You had to say, do you remember what you had to say?
Only.
No. I guess you're 6 now. You were 5 when you did that. So I think that's a long time in your lifetime. But you basically had to say, and don't forget your veggies. Remember? You want to say it?
Don't forget your veggies. Goodbye.
That's it for our show today. Remember, if you need support to live your Well Woman life, head over to wellwomanlife.com/Facebook to join us. Our monthly live event, Well Woman Drinks, brings women together to share our successes and challenges as women, leaders, moms, aunts, sisters, and all the other roles we carry. If you'd like to attend a Well Woman Drinks near you, or if there isn't one in your city yet and you'd like to start one, email info@wellwomanlife.com. If you enjoyed the show, please take a moment and subscribe in iTunes and leave a review. This helps raise visibility, which is super helpful when it comes to producing the show every week. For feedback, comments, or just to let me know you were listening today, find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram @WellWomanLife. I'm Giovanna Rossi for The Well Woman Show. Until next time, have a super powerful week.